All right, first up today, where do you take friends when they visit Milwaukee? Your list might change after you meet our next guest. She is making sure our city lives up to its nickname, which is a great city on a great lake.
Yeah, Jenna Cashew, she authored a second edition of this book. It's called 100 Things to Do in Milwaukee Before You Die. And we are thrilled to discover more about Milwaukee with Jenna now here on the Yellow Couch. Thanks for being here.
Morning.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you being here. This is interesting because I think, we all have our go-tos, whether it's driving past the Calatrava or our favorite restaurant or whatever it may be. But this is really something that could change your minds about the new things to do and the things in town that people should see.
Yeah, I deliberately wrote this book so it's for tourists and for locals. I think there's a lot of things that we take for granted in our city, but now was just such a great time too because there's so much new happening with the Pfizer Forum, that whole Deer District that has all those great new restaurants popping up. And then one of my other favorite parts of the city is that western edge of downtown, the new Pabst Brewery complex. So there's lots going on over there too. And then, just with the hop and the bubbler bikes, there's just great new ways to get around. So
there's a hop.
Yep,
So I love it. Yeah, there is a lot to do. And you talked about some other great things we're going to list in just a second. You were Milwaukee Magazine's Girl About Town for a number of years, right? And is it true you wrote this book, the second edition, while you had a newborn at home, a toddler, and a full-time job?
Yes.
Well, good for you. So you're Superwoman too. You moonlight as a superhero.
I try. I just try my best. It's it's fun when it's something that you really enjoy doing. And actually writing this book was the perfect antidote with having two small children at home because it allowed me to get out of the house, to go explore. I had some help at home, thank God. And it was just really fun for me to be able to rediscover because, even though I have been exploring and writing about the city for over a decade, like I said, there's just so much new stuff. And actually there's things that I haven't done, which I was embarrassed about, like the Pabst Mansion. I've lived here all my life and
I've done that one.
Yeah, it's really
cool,
beautiful.
right?
Really cool.
So, that made it into the book. And so really narrowing down the list to 100 was harder than I thought. So I ended up having to crowdsource. I, emailed all my friends and I vetted the list about 1,000 times before I finally landed on the 100.
How about the comparison of the first, because there's a first edition of this book written by a different author. So is there overlap between things that you have to do? Because I would imagine, some of the basics are going to stay the same.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that you have to do when you come to Milwaukee. You have to go to the Milwaukee Art Museum. You have to go to Miller Park. You have to see the Harley Museum. So all that sort of carried over from the book. Obviously, there's new information. And one of the nice parts about this book, too, is that we offer tips and tricks. So it's really easy to read if you can open it up and see what are some of the insider tips. So rather than just going to the Harley Museum, maybe check out this specific exhibit or whatever. So it kind of takes your experience to the next level, or you can experience things in a different way.
I like that.
Yeah. So
I like those helpful hints because especially if you're a tourist in your own city, you may have seen it before, but maybe you haven't really seen it the way that you could see it or experience it to its full extent. What I also like is that you mentioned some of the obvious, like you just mentioned, but there's also some that are sort of off the beaten path and new for people, even those of us who have lived in the city for a very long time. Like, for example, one was Caroline's Jazz Club.
I love Caroline's.
I've never heard of it. I didn't know it existed.
So much fun.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's on the stretch on 2nd Street in Walker's Point, and it's been there forever.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, all these great restaurants have popped up all around it. So it really is in the perfect location now because it's a destination sort of right behind the Iron Horse Hotel. So
it's old school when you walk in too. I love it.
Totally, and it's remained unchanged. Bryant's is another place. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's on
cocktail lounge.
Yeah, it's a great cocktail lounge, but you walk in and you're just transported back to the 70s.
Is Bryant's the one with no list of the drinks? You just tell them, they ask you what kind of flavors or tastes or things that you like, and then they create something based off what you say.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I've been there, and that's really cool.
It's really fun.
What about Black Cat Alley? Have you heard of that?
I have, and I have not been. That's
okay, I've not been there. It looks cool.
It's so cool. So this is on the east side, and it's kind of inconspicuous, but then once you're there, you're like, oh, how did I miss this? It's right in between, it's right behind that Colectivo. So between Prospect and Farwell on, I think that's Kenilworth. Yeah, so Kenilworth and North. So it's a beautiful area. It's all, there's a sort of a frog on the top right by the Axe Bar. So you kind of see where it is, and then you sneak down the alley, and it's all these beautiful murals that were created specifically for the east side. So it really is celebrating what's over there.
And you mentioned Urban Ecology Center, which I love because I love that place. There's so much to see and do there. So you can go into the facility, but around there it's beautiful, and you can hike and you can walk and you can see the river and the bridge, and it's really neat. And then also Seven Bridges Trail. So it's Seven Bridges Trail, which is in Grant Park, right? Never heard of that. Never been there either.
It's gorgeous. It's on the south side in South Milwaukee in Grant Park. It's one of those places where you just feel like you're completely transformed, and it feels like, am I still in Milwaukee? So that's why I really like it. It's very peaceful, but it's really close. You know, it's 10 minutes if you're in Bayview. It's probably 5 or 6, but yeah, it's a great spot.
One of the things we drive by all the time, and neither Molly nor I knew the name of it, was the calling sculpture. I did not know that that's what that was called.
Nope.
Have seen it a billion times.
I just thought it was that orange thing.
Yeah.
That looks modern.
That's what everyone calls it.
The art museum, obviously. Dennis Sullivan.
Yeah, so this is Wisconsin's flagship. This beautiful tall ship is
Can you go on it?
Yeah, there are scheduled sales. So you just have to check Discovery World's website. And they have beautiful, all sorts of different themed cruises, afternoon cruises. I believe there's some family-friendly ones as well. There's also adult-only booze cruises, though, I believe. So,
nice,
sweet.
You know, summer's coming. Everybody
so it might not be your kids' version of the Dennis Sullivan. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations on a great book. It was so nice to meet you.
Seriously, big success.
Impressive how much you have going on when you were writing this book, and that you narrowed it down to 100. So the official book launch party is coming up Wednesday, May 1st, May Day, from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Ivy House. So for $20, this is a deal. You get a book and a beer. I like that. You can
Very Milwaukee.
Online, JennaCashew.com, and she's also on Facebook too. It's awesome to meet you.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.